Hello there again, YouTube. It is once again I, your gothic host with the most, Knox Burzum, back to bringing more blasphemous banter. Tonight's little romp into madness brought us Attack of the Killer Tomatoes from 1978, written by Costa Dillon and John DeBello, directed by John DeBello. This movie clocks in at an hour and 23 minutes and is only rated at PG, which really does show throughout the movie. If you want the short and sweet version, I'm going to be totally honest. This movie falls off the rails at about 40 minutes. The first 30 are comedy gold. They really are. I thought that it was creative for being such a low budget. I thought that it was fun and kind of a unique idea for making a spoof. Sex and nudity, mild to non-existent. Violence and gore, mild to non-existent. Profanity, mild to non-existent. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking, none. Frightening and intense scenes, none. What makes this a horror film? What makes this a horror film is that the tomatoes are supposedly eating people, because sound effects are used to simulate the eating effects. I didn't realize going into this, even though I have seen one review for it by Brandon Tenold. Shout out to Brandon Tenold's Cult Films if he ever sees this. I didn't really understand this, but there is no violent gore or blood or whatever in this movie. Like, it is straight up, it's a kid's horror film. It is what you think of when you make a horror film and you kind of just direct it to children. Many of the jokes in the beginning are at least clever. They rely on sight and on the word presentation, so I mean, there's that. Top bill cast. None of these people, by the way, until you get. So I just want to. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the first 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first 5 people in this movie that are top billed don't even have headshots. David Miller plays Mason Dixon. You've got George Wilson as Jim Richardson. You got Sharon Taylor as Lois Fairchild. And you got J. Stephen Peace as Lieutenant Wilbur Finletter. And those are really the top bills. The effects were virtually non-existent, but when they were there, it was clever. Basically, it's tomatoes rolling around. And it's like enormous paper mache / foam tomatoes. Let me see if I can get you a decent fucking. The plot summary is as easy as it comes. After a wave of reports of mysterious attacks involving people and pets being eaten by the traditionally docile fruit, a special government task force is set up to investigate the violent fruit, tomatoes, and put a stop to their murderous spree. Included in this crack team are a lieutenant who never goes anywhere without his parachute, and he really does keep that going throughout the whole film, which, it's funny. It's funny. It's also absurd, to be totally honest. But it's funny. An underwater expert who's never out of his scuba gear, which, that gets annoying as fuck, dude. That just gets, really dumb. And a master of disguise who conceals his appearance by dressing as a black Adolf Hitler. Not gonna lie, that was the one I was like, dude, they jumped the shark. Also, I'm not entirely sure you can make this movie today with Black Hitler. That was, it was funny. It was funny, the first 2 or 3 times that he's on TV to make the joke, but, I don't know what else to say about that. It is a ridiculous movie. It is a fun movie for the first, like I said, 30 to 40 minutes. And then tragedy strikes, to be completely honest. How do I put this? It's hard to describe how the movie goes off of its rails. The long and short of it is that at roughly the 40 to 45 minute mark, it completely forgets that it's a movie about killer tomatoes and decides that it's going to turn into this strange, drama film. And, Val and I were sitting there trying to figure out what the hell the plot line was, because it just disappeared. And the plot line disappears for a good, 20 solid minutes. It's almost as, and it's such a violently right-hand shift that we both honestly wonder if the people who wrote it basically only wrote a short story's worth of script, and when they got to the part, where they were filming it, realized that they only had 45 minutes worth of script, so they just threw shit in. Because that's what it feels like. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. I just don't. And I know this probably isn't super entertaining to watch me stumble around like this one, but Jamie, I don't know how else to describe it. I know I keep on repeating that, but it's a very bizarre hard shift. It basically goes from being this like ode to 1950s sci-fi romps as an obvious spoof, though. It goes from being that to being this drama, and then back to the movie, which I'm going to be totally honest, I couldn't follow the end at all. And I fell asleep towards the end, to be completely honest. I didn't really dig this film very much. Like, I dig the first half of it, and it's great if you're drinking with someone, which we both were, because we found it to be just absurdist film in its most mediocre form. I think that this movie was actually a little bit ahead of its time, because there would be films afterwards, like things like Sharknado or Birdemic, half of the Asylum's filmography, which take a very simple, silly, stupid concept and bring it all the way, well, to at least half fruition. That's what Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is. It's fine for what it is. I don't think it's that good of a movie, to be honest. The horror element was almost completely left out. Like, I understand how they made it a horror film, but it's really not a horror film. And I don't think it really deserves to call itself that. I'm giving this... It tried. It tried so hard. Okay, actually, one of my very favorite parts of the movie is Black Hitler. He is told to dress up like a tomato to infiltrate the tomato's base. Now, what you think is going to happen, right, is that he's going to be completely in red face the next time you see him. He's going to have on green tights, and a green stock cap, right? Oh, honey, no. If you've ever seen, like, the Venture Brothers cartoon on Cartoon Network on Adult Swim, what half the villains do in that is what this guy does. He puts on a bodysuit of a tomato, leaves the top half, leaves his face as Black Hitler, and leaves his legs in, well, we can't see what color his pants are because it's so dark out, because this thing was not lit well. Again, it was made in 1978 on a very low budget, so I don't know what you want, but they go all the way with him being a master of disguise that is a very sore standout thumb, but no one calls him on it, so it works, I guess. This is the little movie that could. Or, yeah, this sort of, the little engine that could, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. That's how I describe this movie. It's an interesting film to watch, as it is definitely a time capsule for low-budget B horror films. I would call this C grade, though, and the acting is terrible, not gonna lie. The other part that we both really enjoyed, it comes during this scene where there is a cabinet meeting of all the generals and shit, and there's one Japanese dude that they have talking, and they do the terrible voiceover that used to happen with American dubs for Godzilla films. So, like, his mouth will be moving, but what will be coming out is not even close to what his mouth is saying. It's just hilarious, and it's like terribly ADR'd. And that was the other big joke I liked. I liked the physical joke of too big of a table and too many people in one small room. Like, it was obvious that it was a set piece because otherwise the camera wouldn't have fit, which kind of made it funnier, I think. there's lots of little gimmicks in this. You will laugh, but it will be easier to laugh if you have an old fashioned in your hand and a couple of good friends to make fun of the movie with. Because about 40 minutes in, you're going to have to start riffing it if you want to stay awake. I give it a 5 out of 10. I give this movie a 4.5 out of 10. The wife decided that she had to go to bed. I don't know if she's going to be in a ton more reviews, because to break the fourth wall here a little bit, she has fibromyalgia and she has not been sleeping well. So I love my wife very much, but if she's not able to do this, then you'll be stuck with me for the rest of 40 days a night. And that'll just have to be how it is, and we'll just be hanging out together again. Like, comment, subscribe. Please let me know. If you have good childhood memories of this movie, let me know, because I'm going into this as a 36-year-old having never seen the film before. So for me, it might be significantly different than people who grew up with this movie. I'd never seen it before last night. And it's like 30 years past its semi-prime even. So, woof. Peace, love, and heavy fucking metal, folks. Bye.